Good morning. So my normal camera is at the apartment. So this is off my laptop.
Oh, I can see you.
I know, but it's definitely not good resolution and I apologize.
It looks fine to me.
Okay. Hey, Sue. So I don't have my normal camera or my microphone. So it's working off my laptop.
And now they're coming back.
All right,
Kudos.
give it a go.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
So hopefully you're going to be able to see and hear me okay. Let's take our feet to the width of the mat. Let them point straight ahead. Take a nice big deep breath. Keep your arms nice and wide. And then swing them back by your side as you fold forward. And come back up. Sweep them nice and wide. And then fold forward. And let's just do this a few more times. When you take them up, really reach them. And then fold forward. And you want to be pulling your belly button in. Now bring your feet all the way together and bring the arms a little closer if you can, and take your gaze and look up. So I want you to find your balance and equally weight both feet. And then bring the arms back down. Now you're going to fold forward with your feet together. And try not to shift from side to side. You want to engage through your core and be nice and solid. Reach for the ceiling and then fold it back down. You determine how fast or slow you go. It's definitely a little bit of a balance challenge. One more time. Now fold all the way down and let your head go. If you can, your feet are still together and your legs are straight. Inhale to a flat back. Reverse swan dive all the way back up. Reach for the ceiling. We're going to do this 2 more times. Go all the way down. Let the head go. So you're just looking through your knees. Inhale to a flat back. And now reverse it back up. And one last time. Swan dive it down. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold back down. Now this time we're going to walk out to plank. So take your hands to the front of your mat. They should be shoulder width apart. And let the shoulders move on top of the wrists. Now you're going to step your feet in so your knees are under your hips. You're in bear. And from bear, you go into a small down dog with both heels on the floor if you can. Come back to bear. Step back to plank. And now let's take it to a regular down dog. Come back to plank. Step into bear. Small dog. You're going to do this one more time. Plank. Downward facing. Step in. You're in bear. And you're back to your small dog. Now walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Your feet are hip width apart this time. Inhale to a flat back. Reverse swan dive it all the way back up. Should feel nice and stable as you move through. All the way back down. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold it back down. Take your arms and cross them. You're here for 3 breaths. Hands above the knees, come all the way back up to standing. You're going to take your arms out in front. Your feet are still hip width apart. Give me a little squat and raise the arms. And then come back to standing and do it again. Lower, squat, lift, and stand back up. One more time. Little squat, lift the arms, stand back up. Let the arms come down by your side. Take the right arm all the way up, straight up to the ceiling. And then do the same on the opposite side, all the way up. And just keep oscillating between the two. One more time on each side. Now bring the arms out in front, let the hands come together, clasp your fingers. Come into a squat. Take the arms to the right and then go left. Try not to let your hips move at all. So really pull in the tummy and hold it strong. Just keep going side to side. Now separate the hands, squat a little lower, and lift the arms a little higher. Come back up to standing and relax the arms. Okay, so today I have a ball we're going to use for inner thighs, plank walkouts, or ball rollouts. So you have options if you don't have a ball. We're going to start out with deadlifts. So I want you to pick up the heaviest weights you have. Feet are hip width apart to start. So if you look at me from the side, got my feet in line. I'm going to push my booty back, weight into the back of my body, and then come down with the weights really close to my legs and right back up. So I'm keeping my spine long, so I'm not rounding the back. I'm starting out at a fairly slow pace, and then push it back up, and then all the way back down. Now I'm going a little bit quicker now that I've run through a few reps. Just keep it going, nice and steady. So we're going to do 4 more like this, and then we're going to take our feet really wide and do the same deadlift with wide feet. So here we go. When you come up, take your feet wide. I've got half my foot on the mat and half on the floor. My weights are in front. Push the booty back just like you were doing. Come on down with your weights. They stay very close to the feet or to your, I've got them ending up just by my ankles. And I'm just going to keep this going. So 4 more like this. Then we're going to change our feet again. Last one. Now let's bring the feet together. And maybe they're not completely together, but as close as you feel comfortable. Squat down. Sorry, not squat. Deadlift down. Arms are now by your side. So when you get down, they're just beside the feet. Everything else remains exactly the same, except how we're holding the weights. Now, as we did when we were warming up, I wanted you to equally weight both feet. So try to avoid any shifting side to side. So how do you do that? You have to try to find as much muscle as you can and engage it. Let's do 4 more like this. Nice and steady. Last 2. And 1. So let's shoulder the weights. Take your feet wide so you feel nice and comfortable and stable. Give me some presses. So you're just going straight up. And you can take it to the side if you would rather. I like going straight up, especially if my weights are heavy. So just keep alternating. You always have the option to do 2 at a time. Do a few more here. One more on each side. Nice, okay. We're gonna give our hands a little bit of a break. Shake them out. We're gonna do 15 push-ups and 30 seconds of plank holds. You're gonna be in a high plank. So let's get down, get ready for your 15 push-ups. You count, you go at your pace. If you need to stop to take a break, that's okay. Don't drop your face. The chest that comes down. Okay. Now we come into that plank hold. If you've done your 15, you're here for 30 seconds. Make sure you haven't dropped your face. Shoulders right over your wrists. Let's just hold this while we calm our breathing. Pull in that belly button, keep the legs straight, push your heels back. Okay, knees down. Whew, your little reprieve here is gonna be some cat cows. So round the back, look at your knees. Drop into the shoulders, take your gaze, look up. Just keep repeating that. You can add a little movement of pulling the hips a little backwards while you round the back, if it feels good. Let's do a couple more. Nice, okay. Flip those feet around, have a seat on your butt. You're gonna grab your Pilates ring or your ball. We're gonna just start out with inner thigh squeezes. So you're gonna have a nice little lie down. Get those knees pushing into your Pilates ring or the ball and just hold it in for 3 counts. And then release it slow. When you release it, be sure to let the muscles release completely. And then let's re-engage. Squeeze for 3 seconds. And then let it go. While you're squeezing, you can do that little pelvic tilt where the lower back pushes down into the floor. And then let it go. Just do that 8 more times. So if you've got a ball, you're probably feeling this already. If you're using a Pilates ring, same thing. You also have the option to use a pillow if you don't have any equipment with you. Squeeze and release. You got to do that 3 count each time. Then let it go. And bring it in. And let it go. Almost done. A couple more. Definitely got some shaking going on. Hopefully you do too. Last one. Now, we're going to get ourselves into a bridge without the ball or any equipment to start. And we're going to do bridge walkouts with our feet. So before you bridge up, bring your heels as close to your butt as you can get them. And let's have our feet hip width apart. You're going to roll the pelvis up and peel the back off the floor into your bridge. So your arms can be just down on the floor chilling. Now, Before we start to walk, do you have your hips up nice and high? And your knees not going out to the side. You want to keep them in line with your hips and your ankles. So you need to have the activation of your inner thigh muscles, the ones we just worked. Now let's lift the toes off the floor. I want you to lift your left heel and then step it forward, maybe 3 or 4 inches. So this is a slow motion thing. You lift up, you kind of hold, and then you move it down to the floor. So it's like 3 seconds, the heel should be in the air. And you've got lots of core engagement to be nice and quiet through the hips once that foot comes off the floor. Lift your left foot up. 3, 2, 1, step it out. Lift the right. 3, 2, 1, step it out. Now let's just hold here for a little bit. Your feet are hip width apart and your toes are pointing up to the ceiling. I want you to roll the back down 1 vertebrae at a time. So you feel that low back on the floor. Release everything, reactivate, pelvic tilt, roll up. Nice. Now just hold at the top. Bring your knees to touch. The feet don't move. Open back up. And squeeze back together. Again, you're looking for 3 count squeeze. And then open up. And then squeeze. You're still working your shins because you got your toes pushing up to the ceiling, right? Squeeze. You got to bring a lot of force to your squeeze every time. Open. 1 more squeeze. Open. Step your left heel off the floor. Just hold. Put it back down. Step the right one. We're not stepping out anymore. We're just lifting and lowering. You're lifting up for 3 counts. Lift up and lower. 1 more. Lower. Bring your knees back together. Squeeze and just hold. Just hold the squeeze. Pretty easy, right? Only one thing to worry about. How hard are you squeezing them? Now slowly roll the back down. Slide the legs out. Let's go to that full body stretch. Arms back behind you. Spread your fingers wide. Point your toes so you get to stretch out those shins. Your 6-pack muscles get a nice stretch. Now let's bring the arms back. So we've done the walkouts. Now I'm going to use my ball to do it. If you don't have a ball, you're going to repeat what we just did. So you're going to bridge it up. If you're using a ball, I've got the heels on the ball and my lower legs on the ball, hip width apart. I'm going to lift my hips up. So I'm in my bridge. Roll the ball in and roll it out. So if you're walking, you're doing those step slow motion where you lift your foot up and you step it out. And you just keep repeating. So with these rollouts, we're still doing the 3 counts. So you pull in, hold for 3, 2, 1, take it out. Pull in, you got 3, 2, 1, and then you take it out. Keep going. Now, in your bridge walkouts, if you have no place to go, you're just alternating, lifting and lowering your heels. I'm only going to do 3 more like this. And lower those hips. Okay, let's put the ball away for right now. You're lying down, you're back to your full body stretch. Hold the arms nice and long, spread the fingers wide. Point your toes and then flex your feet. And alternate between pointing and flexing. One more. Now bring your arms by your side. You're gonna lift your right leg up. Keep the left one down on the floor. Now take your left hand and grab hold of the outside of your right foot. So you're crunching up and you're trying to rotate to touch the outside of that right foot. And then lower back down, head to the floor. Everything releases except you're still holding your leg up. Lift up, grab the outside of that foot. A lot of work for your side body. And then lower back down. We're holding up for those famous 3 counts. 3, 2, 1, and lower. You're staying on the same side. Working your right side body is where we're feeling this, I hope. And lower, and we're just going to do 2 more. Up. Really try to find the outside of that foot. And down. And 1 more. Lift up. And down. Lower that leg. Go back to that nice full body stretch. Bring the arms back by your side. Right calf is going to stay pressing down on the floor. You're going to lift your leg up, the left one. Try to get it nice and straight. Right hand comes up to grab the outside of that left foot. 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. You're keeping the leg up. Lift up, grab the outside, and lower back down. I'm going to do this 3 more times. And then we're going to add on by lowering the leg when the arm comes back to the floor. 1 more. Okay, so your head's on the floor. You're going to lower your leg. Let's just roll the head from side to side to release all the muscles in the neck. So your legs are fully extended. You're going to lift the right leg and left arm to grab the outside of that foot simultaneously. You ready? So leg and arm come to meet, and then they relax back down. So you're not doing any holds, and now you're alternating side to side. So we lift the right leg, use your left hand to grab the outside of the foot. Once you've got it, you're back down on the floor. And just keep switching. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Okay, bring both knees into the chest this time. Make a nice little circle to massage the lower back. Go the opposite way. Rock and roll back up. Flip your feet around. Come back into your push-up position. You're doing 15 push-ups all over again. You ready? Let's go. When you've done 15, you're holding a high plank. Okay, I'm in my high plank. I got my heels pushing back, shoulders over the wrists, belly in. My face is looking toward the front of the mat, so I have not dropped my face. So let's make sure our hips are in line with our back, and if they're not drooping, same with the belly. Pull it up and into the spine. Hold that pull. Count to 10 slowly. Okay, pull through to a downward facing dog. This is your reprieve. We're going to pedal our feet so we get a nice stretch through the calves. This should feel good. Make sure you're not craning with your head. You can see your arms. Got to pull the ribs in. tummy in, come back to your plank. Now we're going to step our left foot forward between both our hands. So you're in what we call a runner's lunge. Hold it. Now, if you can, slide your back foot a little further back. So you've got quite a bit of space between your front foot and the back one. Now from here, we're going to take our hands off the floor and bring them to heart. So you have a massive forward lean, which means we have a lot of work coming into this left leg just to hold this. Now, while you're holding it, drive your back heel down. Mine does not touch the floor because my foot's fairly far back, and that's okay. And then power up onto those toes. So you feel your whole body moving a little bit forward, and then when you drive the heel back down, you feel it moving back, maybe an inch or two. So you're just sort of rocking forward to back, forward and back. Just rock a few more times. Okay, let's take the hands back to the floor, step it back to plank, and do the same on the opposite foot. So your right foot comes up, knee over heel, fingers on the floor. Before bringing your hands up to heart, if you can slide that left foot back a little bit, it'll make it more challenging. Hands to heart. Massive forward lean here. Drive that back heel backwards and then rock it forward. And just keep going. Forward and back. So my knee is not moving far forward, it's just going a little bit beyond the ankle and forward. Just a few more rocks. Okay, let's take the hands down, step back, maybe in that plank. But this time I'm going to have you, without putting your knees down, lower down to your forearms. Bring your feet so they're touching. Toes and ankles together. Lift your hips up a few inches. Hollow out your belly. Lower the right hip towards the floor. Pick it back up. So you should feel like your butt is a little bit sticking up. Lower the left side. And pick it back up. So right now, we're not moving our feet. We're just moving the hips. Down and up. And down and up. So I'm going nice and slow, side to side, lowering and lifting. Just going to do a few more. Then we're going to let the feet roll to the side. So start in the middle. Let the right hip go down, let the ankles go down. Then come back up. And then let them go a little bit to the left. And come back up. And just rock and roll side to side a few more times. Last one. Now put those knees down. Walk the forearms back. Meet me in your child's pose. So whatever version you like, I'm going to open my knees nice and wide so I get a good stretch through my inner thighs and my lower back. So I've got my forehead down on a towel. My arms are chilling and I'm sitting on my heels. Hang out right here. Okay, come back up. I know that felt really good. So I'm still sitting on my heels, but I've lifted my chest up. I'm going to come off my heels, walk my arms forward to the corners of my mat, drive my hips back. So now I'm going for a little inner thigh and lat stretch. So my armpits are lowering towards the floor. Getting a nice stretch in both of those places. Make sure you're not holding your head up so it's hurting your neck. You want to keep your neck nice and long. which means I have my forehead just above the floor. Just hold here for a tiny bit longer. Okay, come on back up. You're gonna flip your feet around. We're getting off our knees. You're gonna grab the heaviest weights you have, and we're gonna do chest presses. Okay, so because we've done 2 rounds of push-ups, it should feel challenging already, right out of the gate. But here we go. So have a nice little lie down, get your weights. Palms face forward with a neutral wrist. Give me 25 presses if you can. Nice and steady. Use your breathing. We're only doing this 1 time. And if you need to alternate or switch to a lighter weight to get through 25, that's fine. Working on endurance here. Let the weights touch at the top. You can do that nice little pelvic tilt so the low back is on the floor. Press it down. And breathe. Exhale as you press up. Inhale on the way down. Remember, this is chest work, so I want you to try to think about squeezing that chest, especially at the top of the move. Elbows are going out to the side. We want the backs of the arms to touch the floor. Start to get hard, work through it. Got 5 more. Wherever you are, just get it done. And when you're done, rock and roll yourself back up. So we're sitting up. Boy, that was a lot of work. Hold your arms out in front. Sitting up with your heels in the corners of your mat. Your spine is long. Now we're going to C-curve the back and roll down, Pilates style, 1 vertebrae at a time. Nice and slow. Keep that belly pulling in. Keep the spine rounding. Once you're down, arms go back, head relaxes. Now make a fist. So you're opening and closing the hand. Squeeze and release. We're going to come back to our inner thighs 1 last time. Just do this hand therapy, as I like to call it. Just a little bit longer. It brings good blood flow back because you're holding those weights for quite a while. Okay. Grab your Pilates ring or your ball. Get it between your legs. You're squeezing in and releasing. So it might not be exactly 3 counts. Just as long as it takes you to squeeze as hard as you can and then let it go. We're going to do this 15 repetitions, and then we're going to squeeze and pulse it, and then we're going to hold it, and then that's it for your inner thighs. Don't let that belly relax. I want you to be working it the entire class. Remember, once you've done 15 of these, you're pulsing it in an inch, out an inch. So I'm starting my pulses now, nice and slow. Don't be in a hurry. I don't want the movement to be jerky. I want it to be smooth and in control. Okay, let's hold it in while you breathe. Keep pressing your belly down and try to take 5 big more breaths. Just squeezing and holding. Almost done. When we release this, we're going to do a little happy baby stretch for our inner thighs. In 3, 2, and release it. Nice job. Okay, put your ring or ball to the side. Knees come in. You're going to hold the outsides of the feet. Heels push up towards the ceiling as the knees pull towards the floor. Try to keep your lower back on the mat and give me a nice little rock side to side. Nice. Now let's bring our knees together so they're touching and our feet. And if you can, you're going to hold your opposite elbows. Lift your head up towards your knees. So we call this a nice little tuck. You're just tucking your body close. You can add a little rock here if it feels good. And then release the head to the floor. Release the legs all the way down on the floor. So we're going to do the Sean move. I want you to turn your toes to touch and bring a little bend to the legs so you can connect your knees. We are only doing this therapy one time today. So let's make it great. So push your heels down, pull them towards you without moving them. Squeeze the knees even harder. Pelvic tilt. Now the low back, my low back is not on the floor, and that's just fine because it's not possible for me to get it there. You might be different. Now let's cup our fingers. Keep all those 3 activations going and lift your butt. You're just going to hold this maybe for 5 counts. You got to really put a lot of force into the squeeze. It is all about the squeeze. Okay, release it. Nice job. Point your toes. Legs are fully extended, arms all the way back behind you. Little reprieve. Now, let the arms come forward, lift the head, tuck the chin. You are about to roll up Pilates style, spine flexing, dive through your legs for a nice hammy stretch. Let the head go. This is great for the hamstrings, your gluteals, and your lower back. But what makes it even better is how big you breathe. Okay, round yourself back up and now come to a really long straight spine. Each heel is in the corner of the mat. I want you to engage the belly. We're going to work our hip flexors and our quads a little bit. So let's flex both feet, sit up tall, lean back just an inch or 2, but do not round your lower back. Lift the right leg up and over to the left one and lift it up and back to where you started. And stay on the same leg. So we're just working the right one. Lift up, move it over to touch the left foot, and then lift up and move it back. Get as much height here as you can. We're doing this 10 times. So lift it as high as you can while you're moving it over. Don't round through your lower back. Stay tight through the belly. You're going to be feeling this in your quad muscle and the hip flexor. When you've done 10, do the same on the opposite leg. It's perfectly fine if one is stronger than the other. Maybe you're getting a little more height or a little less height. But that doesn't matter. What does matter is that you're not collapsing through your core. You're staying nice and strong. Proud chest. Get a little higher if you can. One more. Nice. Dive it forward. We're going to stretch out that low back one last time. Hold here for 3 big breaths. Okay, come back up, sit nice and tall, one Pilates style roll down. And then we get to stretch. So arms by your side, head down, bend your legs. So pull your feet in. We're going to do the figure 4 stretch for our hips. So take your right ankle, sit it on top of your left thigh. Now I want you to try to move the right knee forward and down. Your arms are by your side, you're not touching your legs. Now, once you've got that activation in the right knee, lift your left foot off the floor and drive the left knee into your body, as far as it will go. Now, I want you to create a force where you're trying to pull the left knee in closer and the right knee further out. So really create a strong force with your right foot flexed on top of your thigh. And then let that left knee go back to the left foot to the floor, right foot to the floor, switch sides. Flex that left foot even before it lands on the right quad. Move the left knee forward as much as you can. It's really an activation. I don't know that it's necessarily moving forward, but you're trying. And now we bring that right knee in towards us and create that nice strong force. Right knee pulling in, left knee moving out. Nice. Now take that right foot back to the floor, followed by the left. Let's keep the legs bent, hip width apart with our feet. We're going to oscillate the knees side to side, but before you start moving your legs, I want you to make airplane arms. So arms out to the side. Let the knees go left and right, and just keep switching them. And sort of let them guide you, like wherever they want to be, let them be. Okay, so we're all going to meet with our knees on the right side. So just let them hang. And now I want you to actively take your left knee and try to move it closer to the floor. The right knee is just hanging out. Now, we're going to take the left arm, bring it up so your wrist is right over your shoulder. Turn your palm to face forward. And now we're going to slow-mo that arm backwards, straight back behind us. Feel how that enhances the stretch on top of that left hip. Keep pressing your left knee towards the floor and keep reaching that arm really far back. Like Sean says, you're trying to grab $1 million. Go for it. Now don't hold your breath. You got to breathe while you do this. Okay, let's bring the arm back to the side. So you're back to those airplane arms. You're going to bring your knees back up slowly. And you're going to let them relax to the left this time. Create that activation of the right knee going towards the floor. Bring your right arm up. Palm faces forward. Take it straight back. Doesn't need to get all the way to the floor. It's just probably 3 or 4 inches off the floor. But what's really important is the drive of the right knee down and the left palm reaching to grab that $1 million. While you got that strong activation, start to breathe. Nice. Now bring that arm back to the floor. Both arms are right beside you. You're going to extend your legs all the way down. You're going to lift your head and we're going to roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. Open up the legs and dive through them. Let the forearms relax to the floor. Stay here for a breath or 2. And now sit it up. We're gonna all meet on our feet, up on the toes, nice and high. As high as you can get on those toes. Just hang out here just for a sec. Now let's go to a straight leg. Look through your knees to the back of the room and cross your arms. You're here for 3 breaths. Make them fabulous. Okay, hands above the knees. Help yourself come back up to standing. And I thank you so much for your power and strength. Awesome job. Sorry that I didn't have my camera. You guys okay?
It was. Where'd you leave it?
I left it at the beach apartment.
Oh.